Australian Turnstiles, National Rugby League is back. Defending NRL premiers, Cronulla Sharks, will open a 2017 season at home against perennial powerhouse, Brisbane Broncos. The Sharks broke a 50-year-old drought to win their maiden premiership against the Melbourne Storm in the 2016 decider. Over 1.6 million fans attended NRL games last year, at an average of 16,500 per game, a result of many clubs recording an increase in crowd numbers for the first time in years. This season will conclude with the grand final at ANZ Stadium on Sunday, October 1st. Meanwhile, AFL fans have another 3 rounds of the AFLW and 4 weeks to wait until their season proper gets underway. Super Rugby has started, with the crowd at Allianz Stadium observing a moment's silence prior to the NSW Warriors vs Western Force game in memory of Dan Vickerman, who sadly passed away on February 18. Vickerman was a towering lock forward who won 63 caps for Australia, having first represented his homeland of South Africa at the under-21 level. He played Super Rugby for both the ACT Brumbies and Waratahs, and was aged only 37. During the latter stages of his career, Vickerman spent time studying in the UK, at which time he captained the prestigious Cambridge University First 15. A public service will be hosted by his club, Sydney University, during the week. The international summer of cricket in Australia is now over following the 2020 series win by Sri Lanka, with only the first-class Sheffield Shield remaining to officially wrap up the domestic season. A month out from the final, and 4 states are still in with a chance to host the 5-day final. However, with the AFL season underway by then, the Gabba, SCG, MCG and Adelaide Oval will all be unavailable. The Waka Ground in Perth does not house an AFL team and will therefore host the final should Western Australia top the table. The remaining contenders have all nominated secondary, and in some cases regional, venues as their preferred home ground: Allan Border Field, QLD, North Dalton Park in Wollongong, NSW, Traeger Park in Alice Springs and Vic, and Glitterall Stadium in Glenelg, SA. Should the game be played in Wollongong or Alice Springs, it would be the first time either city has hosted the final of the Sheffield Shield, Australia's premier domestic cricket competition that dates back to 1892. Australia will play football powerhouse Brazil in Melbourne on June 13. As we reported 2 weeks ago, Brazil will be in town for a friendly against Argentina on June 9, while the Socceroos will be using the game as a warm-up for their Confederations Cup campaign, which begins in Sochi, Russia on June 19 against Germany. The last time the two sides met was on Brazilian soil in 2013, a clash where the home side handed out a 6-0 thrashing to the Australians. It appears our editorial on the offensive banner at the Western Sydney Wanderers vs Sydney FC derby at ANZ Stadium last week was on the money. After pressure from the FFA and the broader community, the WSW have banned the 14 people from the fan group RBB, identified as responsible for the sign, from attending games for a year and a half. Their memberships will also be suspended, and the club has threatened to shut down the active supporters section of the stadium should further incidents occur. The RBB has responded angrily, although it is fair to say that their attitude seems to clearly be out of line with community expectations. The club itself has been handed a $20,000 fine, although I'm wondering at what point will the league dock the club competition points? The subject of the offensive banner, Sydney FC coach Graham Arnold, who is himself an FFA Hall of Famer, has been quoted that he is less likely to take his family to the football following the incident. Here at Stadium Journey we know that fans add to the overall game day stadium experience. After all, we rate the fans in our exclusive fanfare scoring system. It is becoming more and more obvious that there is a point at which active fan behavior becomes a negative rather than a positive. Baseball Australia, BA, has announced that Cameron Vale has been appointed as their new CEO, replacing Brett Pickett, who spent 6 years in the role and a total of 14 in BA's Gold Coast office. Vale's most recent position was CEO of Hockey Australia, prior to which he spent time in key operations and finance leadership positions at the North Melbourne AFL Club and Melbourne Storm NRL Club. In recent years BA has experienced rapid and significant change, including the ongoing progress of the Australian Baseball League, ABL, hosting the 2014 MLB opening series, several branding and governance updates and growth of club memberships. Vale's experience in the high-stakes AFL and NRL should be good bonus for BA, who are looking to strengthen the ABL, of which it now has sole ownership. The National Basketball League, NBL, Grand Final Series is set to commence after the Illawarra Hawks upset Adelaide to claim their place in the series against the Perth Wildcats. The series is a best-of-5, alternating between Perth Arena and Wynn Entertainment Centre in Wollongong, with the deciding Game 5, if required, on Sunday, March 12th.